This is the Škoda Elroq 50. So this is the entry level of the Elroq. This is a super interesting vehicle. It's very comfortable, it's well equipped, it's rightly priced. So in this video, we're going to do the electric exam, where we test 8 different categories, all the things that you really need to know when you're going to buy an electric car. Let's go do it, because this is the Škoda Elroq and you're watching Totally Electric. The Škoda Elroq is a really interesting vehicle. It's only 4 meters 50 long, it's 1.89 meter wide and 1.63 meter tall. Yet it's still as big on the inside as its bigger brother, the Škoda Enyaq. It's also super practical. I'll show you some of the really interesting solutions that it has on the inside. This one is the entry-level version, the Škoda Elroq 50, because it has a 52 kilowatt hour battery with which it can in theory do 375 kilometers of range according to the WLTP cycle. We're going to test that because that is what we do here on this channel. It will accelerate from 0 to 100 or 0 to 62 miles an hour in 9 seconds, which is not too impressive. It's got a motor on the rear axle which gives it 170 horsepower or 125 kilowatts. It'll charge at 145 kilowatts on DC and up to 11 on AC. So overall, the trick about this car is that it's a solid Škoda from Volkswagen Group, and it only cost 35,000 euros. Okay, my camera is going to overheat because I live in Spain and it's about 400 degrees outside now. But if you look at this car, it is a good looking car, even in this gray color, which is not my favorite. The front end looks very much like the new Škoda Enyaq with this, I guess you can call it a bone structure. It looks like bone, doesn't it? I don't know what to call it. This black bit here in the front, which really, yeah, it looks quite nice, and it doesn't have this big grille that just screams combustion engine. It only's got this little thing down here which can open and close according to how much refrigeration we need or how much ventilation we need inside for the battery and the motors. We have a nice side profile, and we have these tinted windows in the back, even in the entry level. The wheel arches and the wheels are nicely proportioned. It is just a good looking car, isn't it? This is the kind of car you'd buy and just put a smile on your face every morning when you get down to the garage to drive it. Yep, really nice, really nice. Now, if we come around the back, I'm going to show you what I mean when I talk about this being super uber practical. Let's open up the boot. See, first of all, we've got a kick sensor, even in the entry level version here. And once we're inside, we got this, which is sort of a little hammock where you can put things in so that they won't tumble around inside it. We've got stuff you can put down here, and then it's got plastic cover, or if you fold it open, it's got a cloth cover. Then we've got different shelves where we can put stuff on. We've got a net up here for our charging cables. This is just the most practical interior of a car that you will ever see, I promise you. We'll do a highway test of this car now. Let's see how far we can go. I've got 98% battery. We've only got 52 kilowatt hours of battery in this, and that'll give us 375 kilometers according to the WLTP standard. But of course, at highway speeds, we're going to get less. So we've reset the trip computer, and now I'm going to go on the highway. It's just here. I'm going to go through half the battery going that way. Then I'm going to turn around, come back here, see how far we can go. So I'm driving at 120 kilometers now because that's the maximum speed limit here in Spain on highways, and I do these tests at 120 according to the GPS, according to what the car says, because sometimes it'll be 120, sometimes it'll have to be 125, but the high precision GPS I use will always give me the exact same number so I can compare between different vehicles. And I do this at 120. I know that some places in Europe you can do 130. I can't do that here in Spain, and I certainly cannot do that while I put the video up on YouTube. Now, we'll be driving for half the battery towards Barcelona. I'm starting out close to Madrid. And then when I'm about halfway through, I'm going to turn around and come back. I do this because I could be going uphill now and then I'll have to be going downhill later. There could be wind in my favor at the beginning of the trip, and I want to make sure that I even out as much as humanly possible all the different variables for doing this test. Now there will be things like traffic, there will be maybe roadworks and other things that might have to slow me down. but I'll give you all the data at the end of the trip. The Volkswagen system is actually very, very good. And now the GPS even tells me which lane I'm supposed to be in. So it's saying that in 700 meters, I gotta take an exit. So it recommends me to be in the right lane. I mean, here it's quite easy because there are only 2 lanes. But if you're in the city with like 5 different lanes in each direction, this is a really, really useful system. Furthermore, it's also gonna tell me with how much battery I'm gonna get back to my charger. Excellent system. Much improved. So I'm at 51% state of battery right now, so I probably should be thinking about turning around to make sure that I can get back home without emptying out the battery. However, if I look at the GPS system here, it's actually quite useful because it says that even if I turn around in the next exit, which is a few kilometers up ahead, I'm still going to get back with 17% of battery left when I get to the charger. So I'm going to chance it and drive below 50% of battery. I didn't want to turn back and get back with 15% of battery left, so next exit turns out it's 10 kilometers up ahead, so I need to do another 10 and then 10 coming back, and now I might not get there. We'll see. I've only got 45% battery left and I still have to turn around and get all the way back. Yeah, I might have messed up. Alright, so turned around, I'm heading back, got 45% battery left. I think I'll make it. So according to the GPS, I'm gonna get to the charger with 6% of battery left. Easy. Okay, this is my exit, and just as it promised, I'm gonna get there with 6% of battery left. Good job, Škoda. So I've driven a total of 248 kilometers, the same as 154 miles. I've got 6% of battery left, and I left with 98%, so we have to add another 8% on top of that. I've been going at 115 kilometers an hour on average, so that's sort of the same as, what is that, 70 miles per hour or something? So the efficiency of this car is 18.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is exactly the same as 300 watt hours per mile. And the total range, if we are to add up the additional battery I have left for this car, is 270 kilometers at highway speed, which is the same as 167.5 miles. What do you think about that? Good or bad? So we're at the Thunder charger. These are one of the best stations we have here in Spain, and I'm going to use my Thunder Easy card. But if you're traveling, you can use roaming, you can use credit card, whatever. It's all good. I need to charge 200 kilometers of range. This is my standard test that I do here. Since the car used 18.6 kilowatt hours to do 100 kilometers, I need to charge a total of 37.2 kilowatt hours in order to get to 200 kilometers of highway range. Let's see how fast it does it. The car has preheated the batteries. It's quite sophisticated, actually. Let's plug it in and see how it goes. Click, click. Let's go. Okay, so right off the bat, we are at 150 kilowatts. Not too bad. I think that's the top speed that the car can do. Let's see for how long time it'll maintain this speed. So according to the car, I can now charge at a maximum of 64 kilowatts. And that is because I'm at about 53% of battery. So at 53% battery, it's already dropped all the way down to 64 kilowatts. It started out at 150, but I've got here the charging curve here. And actually, when we were at 20%, it was charging 150 kilowatts. But at 24%, it had dropped all the way down to 84 kilowatts. That's a very, very sharp and very sudden and very early drop in the charging power. This means that if you're going to charge this car up to, I don't know, 60, 70, 80%, you're going to be here for a while, because this charging curve here is not looking great. And 63 kilowatts, and I'm only at 50% battery. Could be a lot better. Okay, so we have made it now. 37. They have it 37.2 kilowatt hours was charged in 27.5 minutes. Now that is nearly half an hour in order to charge for another 200 kilometers. 27.5 minutes is not super fast, I know. But this is, after all, the small battery version, the one that you're going to buy if you're more interested in saving a few bucks than actually doing a lot of road tripping. So yeah, it's not terrible, but it's not fantastic. What really happened here is that the charging curve was quite bad, and after only 23%, it dropped all the way down to 80 kilowatts. We've got 170 horsepower to the rear axle. Good thing is to the rear, bad thing it's only 170. You know, 170 nowadays is like nothing. I know that my first car was actually, I think it was 83 and it was diesel. But nowadays, you know, you get 500 horsepower from a, regular Hyundai or something. So 170 is not a lot. Now, they're very well balanced. It's hard to get the car to skid out. The tires do really good work at keeping you on the road. Absolutely, love that. When you accelerate beyond 80 or so, you do notice that you would like to have some more power in here. But other than that, the driving is absolutely excellent. Regenerative braking in this car is quite a strange thing. So I've got two, I've got D and I've got B, and this is not the Sportline version. So if I was in the Sportline version, I would have, these two pedals behind the steering wheel, which meant that I can actually change how much regenerative braking is going to apply. Now I can't change it. So if it's at D, it's sort of level 2, and it'll actually do some regenerative braking. It's going to slow me down. I'm at 50 kilometers now. I'm at 40. And it's all right. But however, if I put it in B, it's going to brake significantly more. Now I'm at 50, now I'm at 40, 30, and so on. Now, B works really well, except it doesn't come to a full stop. So it's not really one pedal driving. I do have to apply the brakes if I want to get to a full stop, or get the Sportline version where I can actually control this with the steering wheel pedals. Strange. Okay, so it might not be the fastest if we're just going in a straight line. However, I really do like how this run goes around a curve, how it handles the bends, and the overall handling. It's quite nice, specifically because it's rear wheel drive, so it'll push you through the curve, and you can, never lose traction really, at least not with 170 horsepower. And it's very quiet, very comfortable to drive. So it does have some qualities. It's just not the sporty ones that we typically highlight with these high-powered electric cars. The insides, it's more of the same thing. Very, very practical. We don't have a ton of buttons. A few down here just for the climate and those things. And then we've got this stalk here, which is for the cruise control. It's really, really useful and easy to use. Other than that, we've got physical buttons on the steering wheel, not like the Volkswagens that are touchy-feely. Then we have a secondary screen here behind the steering wheel, very nicely set in here so that we don't get any sun glare. We've got this big screen here in the middle. It's okay, but I'm not a fan of the look and feel of these plastic screens from Volkswagen. But the software is massively improved and works much, much better than the original software we've seen before. Now here are some other Škoda touches. For example, if you look down here in the middle on the center console, you got these here slots for putting in money or coins actually, if you're gonna go through a toll booth. Yeah, it's got all sorts of stuff like that all throughout the car. In the basic entry-level version, we've got manual seats, which I guess is all right. But here's something that you don't see in the entry-level version typically. You've got orange seat belts. Hell yeah. There's no frunk, I know that, and I don't think that Volkswagen has ever made a car with a frunk. But there's plenty of space here in the middle. We've got space on top, we've got space down here. We've got wireless Apple CarPlay as well. That's really nice. So the seat is adjusted to my driving position, and if I get in here, I've got plenty of legroom, I've got plenty of headroom. All good. Wow, I've even got heated seats back here. Not that I need it today. I'm literally dripping just by walking around talking about the car. And here's another little practical detail. Look at this, look at this. You can pull out an actual umbrella. How many cars, except for Škoda, has this? People have complained a lot about the Volkswagen system on this main screen, the same one that's used in all the Volkswagen and the Škoda cars. But honestly, they've come a long way, and it's actually really, really useful now. It's actually quite good, especially when you think about traveling as an EV. So for example, let's use the voice assistant here and say we want to go somewhere far away. Excuse me for talking in Spanish for a second. Vamos a Sevilla.
¿Quieres iniciar la guía al destino directa a la dirección Sevilla Centro o añadir este destino como etapa?
Directo.
Buen viaje.
Okay, so it understood me quite well, and it planned a route. And furthermore, it's going to plan where I need to stop for charging. So I'm going to stop at an Ionity charger and a Enyaq charger. It tells me how much battery, say, let me show you here. It tells me how much battery I'm going to have at each one of the stops, how long time I will have to charge there, and how much battery I need when I leave there. It tells me the whole route, how much time I need to stop, etc. This is absolutely perfect. It gives me a lot of confidence when traveling with this car. I don't need a million miles of battery. I need a GPS system that'll tell me how far it'll actually go. And this does it really, really well. I mean, they didn't used to do it this well, but gosh, they sure have come a long way. The system is also much quicker. It used to be sluggish and slow and lacking a lot in response. Again, they've come a long way. They've either put in, I don't know, quicker processors, or they've just updated the software and it works really well. There's even like an app store so I can download additional applications. There's a user setting so I can have my settings and other people driving can have other settings, etc. It works quite well and it's quite comprehensive. Aside from the screen, I've got these buttons down here. These buttons are for just a few of the main things, and it's not an overload of buttons in here. It's just a few of the main things like climate control and driving mode. I like that the steering wheel is quite minimalist. You know, I only have like 4 buttons on the inside and a scrolling wheel. And I really, really like that all the driver assistance features are in this stalk that comes out here on the left-hand side. It's really intuitive. I haven't needed to look at what it does. I can just, you know, pull once, it turns it on, pull it up when I want to go faster, pull it down when I want to go slower, push it forward when I want to turn it off. Works really well. Aside from that, I've got a screen here in the binnacle. It's very well visible as well because it's inset, quite far inside. So even if the sun comes in glaring, it'll never actually hit the screen. I can control it with a few buttons I've got here. It's not too much I can see up on screen, but it's just enough. I got my ADAS system, my speed, and I got some main things on the right-hand side, sort of like trip computer and stuff like that. So this is a good, solid screen. It's not the most advanced in the world. So I've got sort of my main settings up here, and then I have my home, my music, my phone, my guidance, or my GPS, and of course down here I've got Apple CarPlay, and it's wireless, so I don't need to plug in my phone. In fact, I have a wireless charger down there, so it's really easy. I just come in here, throw my phone down, I've got it all up on screen, it all works. All in all, I think this is a really good tech package, especially if you take into account that this is the entry level. This is the base version. Really good. Well done, Škoda. Volkswagen has come a really long way with their driver assistance feature. This has a level 2, which means that it'll keep the distance to the car in front of me and it'll keep me in my lane. The only thing that it doesn't do that others can do is that it can't automatically change lanes. So if I want to change lanes, I have to do it myself by actually turning the steering wheel over. I think I can manage that. Good thing is, once you're back into your lane, it will automatically re-engage. It's also collaborative. So if, for example, there's a pothole, I can avoid it without disengaging the system. That's really nice. When I want to overtake, so for example, up here we have a caravan coming up. I would show you, but my GoPro just stopped working for whatever reason. If I wanted to now overtake this, now of course it'll slow down so I won't hit it, and then as soon as I put on my blinkers to go into the left lane, it starts accelerating again, and that's really good. Now the one thing that I really, really like about this is how it detects the driver. So you know, some systems you have to like apply some torque to the steering wheel in order for the car to know that you haven't fallen asleep. Now this one does it much better. See, when I'm sitting here driving and I'm not touching the steering wheel, I will get a warning up on screen, but all I have to do is just caress it slightly, because this is a capacitive system. So just like your mobile phone, it'll detect the slightest of touch. So I don't have to apply torque. I can sit any which way I'm comfortable, just having my hands on the steering wheel, and everything will be fine. Good system, Volkswagen. Let's score the Škoda Elroq 50. Remember that all scores can be found on our website, linked below, where you can also compare it with other vehicles that have gone through the electric exam. Travel. This is the entry-level version with the smallest battery of the Škoda Elroq. It shows in the range, only 270 kilometers, which is equivalent to 168 miles on a day with ideal conditions. That means it's not really the best choice for long trips. Its consumption was 18.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which equals about 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour or 300 watt hour per mile. That is decent, but with a small 52 kilowatt hour battery, it doesn't go very far. We give it 4 points in the travel category. Charging. To add 200 kilometers or 124 miles of range, it needed to recharge 37.2 kilowatt hours, which took 27 minutes and 30 seconds. That's on the high side, considering you have to stop relatively early. The reason is that the 37.2 kilowatt hours is a big portion of the battery and the charging curve dropped very quickly. Fortunately, the vehicle helps to plan routes, the screen shows good information, and charging can be programmed. For this combination of details, we give it 6 points in charging. Driving. This is the most basic version of the Škoda Elroq. Buyers of this version probably don't care too much about sportiness. The car feels a bit slow and the regenerative braking doesn't stop the car completely, so there's no true one-pedal driving. However, it is comfortable, the suspension is excellent, and the ride quality is high. We give it 4 points in driving. Interior and quality. The Škoda Elroq offers good space both in the front and in the rear, and the trunk is very practical with different compartments and accessories. Materials are solid, good quality, and in some aspects even better than what we've seen from other brands in the same group. The perception of quality and finish is high, so we give it 8 points in interior and quality. Exterior and design. The exterior design might look a bit anonymous, but you know what? That's not really a negative. It is very practical thanks to its overall size and the long wheelbase, the towing option, and the charging port placement at the rear. We give it 8.5 points in exterior and design. Technology. Being the entry-level version, the technology is more basic compared to the higher trims of the same model. Still, there are positives: the driver interfaces, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and the central screen, which has improved a lot compared to the first models from the group. Even so, we give it 5 points in technology. Driver assistance. The driver assistance system is very well controlled through the steering wheel buttons. It is reliable, adapts well to traffic, and I really like how accurately it detects the driver's hands on the wheel without needing to apply extra force. It is missing a parking assistant, but even so, we give it 7 points in driver assistance. Price. This is a strong point for this vehicle. The entry-level version cost only 34,490 euros here in Spain before any type of government incentives. Compared to its cousin, the Volkswagen ID.4, the Škoda is 6,000 euros cheaper. To find the same price, you'd have to look at a Toyota bZ4X, which cost about the same, and for something even cheaper, you might have to look at the MGS5, which undercuts it by 3,000 euros, but overall, the price to quality ratio of the Škoda is very good, so we give it 9 points in price. Adding all the categories together and applying the weight of each one, the Škoda Elroq 50 reaches a final score in the electric exam of 65 out of 100 points. If you want to compare it with other vehicles that have gone through the electric exam, remember you can do it on our website, linked below. So that is the Škoda Elroq 50. It's a car that's really easy to recommend. It's comfortable, it's well equipped on the inside, and it's rightly priced. It's even rather good looking. Now, I would have liked perhaps a little bit more range and a little bit better charging, but hey, you can't have everything. If you need that, you gotta get with its other versions, the 85 or the 80, not the 50. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've been Lars and you've been watching Totally Electric. Ciao.